Hi, and welcome to SEO 101. What is SEO and why is it important? So first of all, what is SEO? SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's a practice of increasing both quality and quantity of website traffic, as well as expose your brand through non-paid, also known as organic search engine results. SEO is about understanding what people are searching for online, the answers they are seeking, the words they're using, and the type of content they wish to consume. Knowing the answers to these questions will allow you to connect to the people who are searching online for the solutions that you offer. So some of the basics of SEO is search engines are answer machines. They scour billions of pieces of content and evaluate thousands of factors to determine which content is most likely to answer your query. Search engines do all of this by discovering and cataloging all available content on the internet, such as web pages, PDFs, images, videos, etc., via a process known as crawling and indexing, and then ordering it by how well it matches the query in a process called ranking. So there's a couple steps there that these search engines will go through. They have to crawl through your page, little bots crawl through your page, and then index the information on that page and order it how well it matches your query. So if you have something in a headline that matches something in what they were searching, that's going to rank higher than a mention somewhere in a paragraph text that matches what you were looking for. And realizing that not every search engine is the same, so the results that you get from a Google is different from a Yahoo or a Bing or a DuckDuckGo. Why is SEO important? Well, while paid advertising, social media, and other online platforms can generate traffic to websites, the majority of online traffic is driven by search engines. Organic search results cover more digital real estate, appear more credible to savvy searchers, and receive way more clicks than paid advertisements. For example, of all US searches, only approximately 2.8% of people click on paid advertisements. So in a nutshell, SEO has about 20 times more traffic opportunity than pay-per-click on both mobile and desktop. So if you're thinking about how do I drive people to my site, how do I drive people to my site multiple times, the number one way to do it is organic SEO. So while you can put money into Google AdWords, you can make Google ads, you can make Facebook ads or other social media advertisements and dump a bunch of money into those pay-per-click sites. They're still not going to give you as much traffic as having well thought out, organized SEO content driven sites. And thinking about your site and saying, how can I be number one in Google, number two, number three? Yes, you can pay to have an ad that pops up. You've seen those are sponsored pages. That's an ad. How can I automatically appear in that first page as opposed to page 10 when somebody searches for those certain keywords? So there's different ways to drive SEO on your site. And that kind of divides into two camps, white hat SEO and black hat SEO. So what are those things? White hat SEO refers to SEO techniques, best practices, and strategies that abide by search engine rules. It primarily focuses to provide more value to people. Black hat SEO refers to techniques and strategies that attempt to spam or fool search engines. While black hat SEO can work, it puts websites at tremendous risk of being penalized and or de-indexed, so removed from search results, and has ethical implications. So if you are doing proper SEO, you're building according to your SEO to best practices, you're saying, hey, I'm getting organic links, I'm building content that people want to read, content that is valuable to my users and the people visiting my site, that's good white hat SEO. You're making a valuable site that people want to come and use again and again. Black hat SEO are those things where you may click on a page, it may look like one thing, but it could be something else. It can also be where if you're trying to do tricks, multiple pages, things like that, to say, hey, look, this is a much more valuable and dense site than it actually is, you can get booted by search engines. So some of those white hat strategies, the good strategies, are relevant content, well-labeled images, relevant links and references, complete sentences with good spelling and grammar, standards compliant HTML, and unique and relevant page titles. So let's unpack all those little parts a little bit. So relevant content. You're writing content for your site that is relevant, that people want to read, that people want to look at, that people may want to come back and reference again and again. This content may be referenced on other pages by other readers of your site. So if you wrote a really great article on your page and other users went onto your site and said, hey, wow, this is a great article. It's well researched. It's well documented. I'm going to link to that site. I'm going to reference this article. Now you've got links to your page from other pages. That's good SEO. That's wonderful content that people want to come and read. Well-labeled images. It's not IMG 0489722643. You've named and your images something appropriate and also given it alt tags. So that way search engines can find it. Those things are super hyper important. Easy to do when you're writing your HTML. Critical when it comes to SEO. Relevant links and references. So rather, if you've ever been on a page where every other word was a link and you're not sure where it went, that's not good SEO. Having links to things where, you've labeled that link, it's well labeled to say, oh, it doesn't just say click here. It may say, the whole thing might be click for this PDF of da-da-da. That's a relevant link. That's good for accessibility. It's also letting people know what they're clicking on, what it's going to be, and it's relevant to your page. It's not just random links to other random sites to try and build that link building thing. They're relevant to what you're talking about. Complete sentences with good spelling and grammar. It is important that the site that you are developing has been written by someone who is a native speaker of that language. You can often see sites that may seem kind of spammy to you where it looks like it's been not necessarily written or proofed by somebody who has mastery of the language it was written in. Imagine trying to write a site for, not your first language. It's difficult to do, and it will come across to native speakers. So you want to make sure that whoever wrote your site, it is well written. It's not just about word count and keyword, rich words. It's well written. It reads well. I like to read this. I want to read it again. Maybe I want to share it with my friends because I think it's a well-written article. Standards compliant HTML. Having basic good HTML structure goes a long, long way. It's something I've talked about a lot that basically says I've written good semantic HTML. It's the most basic thing you can do as far as accessibility, as far as making your site appear on SEO. It's so important. And then unique and relevant page titles. Don't forget to title your page something that makes sense to it. Don't just call it, index 4. I have index 1, index 2, index 3, and index 4. That's not good. That's not going to confuse it. Or calling it something where it has nothing to do with that page. If I was selling football jerseys online and I just say, hey, this is NFL something else or NH, it could be something completely different to try and drive people to that. You want to make sure it's relevant to what you're doing. So on the flip side of that, the Black Hat strategies are duplicate content, invisible text and stuffed keywords, cloaking or redirecting the user to another site or page, and links from sites with non-relevant content. So, Black Hat strategies, the reason why people may do this is if it's a new site with not a ton of content, it's not going to get crawled and indexed very highly by an SEO. Google's not going to turn back your new page if it's only a couple months old. So people may duplicate that content. So if I had 5 stores someplace and I said, rather than just saying, okay, I'm just going to do 1 page for store locations, I've now done 5 pages for each store location and just duplicated the content on all 5 pages and just changed where the location at the top. So location 1 is now location 2 and all the content is duplicated. While that looks like, hey, now I have 5 times the content because I have 5 stores on 5 pages, that may try and fool some of these SEOs, but search engines are getting smarter and smarter. It may have worked years ago, but now it may just look like you're kind of spammy because now you have 5 pages of the exact same thing or very similar things rather than building good relevant content. Invisible text or stuffed keywords. Once upon a time, a lot of sites if you scroll to the bottom, you would see just what looked like something blank, but it would be typically white text on a white background, or if you had a black background, black text on a black background. So a user wasn't seeing it necessarily. Somebody with a screen reader, it was probably an absolute nightmare for, because it would read all that text, because there was text there, it just wasn't meant to be read. That invisible text added a lot more keywords, so that way it would just pop up higher on a search engine. So hiding those words or keyword stuffing. So if you think, again, if I'm doing football jerseys, where I'm saying, hey, the best place to buy football jerseys. Have you bought football jerseys from barfootballjerseys.com? If you need those football jerseys, how about getting those football jerseys here? How many times have I said football jerseys? An annoyingly large amount of time. So those are stuffed keywords, because I know I want you to search football jerseys and buy them on my site. However, if I'm saying it over and over and over and being very repetitive to it, as a reader, that doesn't read well. So into the search engine too, that just looks like you're trying to get that density to say, oh, well, they've said football jerseys 400 times on this site, therefore it's going to rank higher. Now, most SEOs can get around that stuffing of keywords. If they said you mentioned this too many times in your site, more than should organically appear, you're now going to get dinged. Cloaking or redirecting the user to another site or page. If you've ever been on a site and you were like, hey, I want to click, you see that click here, and all of a sudden you're on a page you didn't want to go to. Oh no, are you going to get a virus on your computer? That's a problem. Some people may make links just everywhere to try and link and get that link generation to say, look, I've got 60 external links on my site, please rank me higher. But if they're not relevant, or they get you to a page or a site that you don't want to go to, you're not going to want to go back. And Google's going to understand that, hey, you didn't want to go there because these are not sites that we want our users going to, or that you likely didn't want to go to. And then links from sites with non-relevant content. So if you were looking up one thing and these links drive you to something completely different just to build that SEO, to try and build those links, that's also a Black Hat strategy. So some of the basic Google Webmaster Guidelines. Make pages primarily for users and not search engines. Don't deceive your users. Avoid tricks intended to improve search engine rankings. A good rule of thumb is whether you'd feel comfortable explaining what you've done to a website to a Google employee. Another useful test is, does this help my users? Would I do this if search engines didn't exist? And then think about what makes your website unique, valuable, or engaging. So if you're reading, or if you're working on your website and you're reading it and you're annoyed by the words you've written, or you're annoyed by how many times you said football jerseys, then you've probably said it too many times. If you said this is, are we just making content for the sake of making content because we want to rank higher? Well, then you're probably not doing the best that you can for SEO. Maybe you're just saying, hey, we want to hit this many words per page because it's good for SEO. Well, if half those words are garbage, you need to kind of retool your site to make sure that all the words on your page are unique, valuable, and engaging. Things to avoid: automatically generated content. Yes, robots will generate content for you if you dump enough information in there, but it doesn't read like a person wrote it. Participating in link schemes, i.e. I link to your page, you link to mine, and now look, we rank higher. Creating pages with little or no original content, so copy or pasted from someplace else. That's plagiarism for one. You could get sued if you're not being very careful about citing your sources or giving attribution and things like that. It also is not original to your site and isn't really going to help you out. Cloaking, the practice of showing search engine crawlers different content than visitors. So cloaking would be that you've now created two different things, or you've hidden some of that content. You can make content that search engines can't crawl. So if you said, oh, search engines can't crawl this, but it's on my site, that can get you penalized pretty big if found. Hidden text or links, so none of that white text on a white background. And doorway pages, pages created to rank well for specific searches to funnel traffic to your website. So be careful of those pay-per-click front page things. Make sure that if somebody clicks on it, it is what they're wanting to go to. So let's talk about fulfilling user intent. Common user intent types are informational. So searching for information such as, what is the best type of laptop for photography? Navigational, searching for a specific website such as Apple. Or transactional, searching to buy something like good deals on MacBook Pros. Providing relevant, high-quality content on your website will help you rank higher in search results, and more importantly, it will establish credibility and trust with your online audience. So when you're building your site and when you're thinking about creating your site, it's super important to understand who is coming to your site and why they are coming there. What is your business strategy behind this? You know, if you said, I'm not really selling anything, but I want to give people honest reviews about something, that's a very different content structure. Or if you said, hey, I've got affiliate links on my site, it'll give me a small kickback or small percentage if you make a purchase from this site, that's okay too. Just being upfront with your readers and your users to say, hey, this is what my site is. So understanding what the user intent is and why they're going to go to your site really will help drive the content that you're going to create. So know your website's clients and goals. What will your key performance indicators be to measure the return on SEO investment? So for my website, blank, whichever website you're working on, my primary SEO key performance indicator is. So that could be sales, downloads, email signups, contact form submissions, phone calls. There's plenty of other ones out there. What's your purpose? What's your purpose of being on the internet here? Why do you have this site in general? What are you trying to accomplish by setting up this site and maintaining this site? How do search engines work? So I mentioned crawling and indexing and ranking, but let's take a little sneak peek at how it works. This is not the end all be all. The first thing is crawl. There's little bots that scour the internet for content. They look over code content for each URL they can find. So just because you have published your site yesterday doesn't mean that Google has yet crawled it. The more that you search your site, the more your site is viewed by people, the more likely it is to be crawled. So it does take some time. Once those bots crawl your site, once they've crawled through that, they're going to start indexing. They're going to store and organize the content found during the crawling process. Once a page is in the index, it's in the running to be displayed as a result for relevant queries. So once you've got something indexed, it's then going to be ranked. The rank provides the pieces of content that will be best answered a searcher's query, which means that the results are ordered by most relevant to least relevant. So that goes through that algorithm. So, search engine crawling. Crawling is a discovery process in which search engines send out a team of robots, known as crawlers or spiders, to find new and updated content. Content can vary. It could be a web page, an image, a video, a PDF, etc. But regardless of the format, content is discovered by links. Googlebots start out by fetching a few web pages and then follows the links on those web pages to find URLs. So this is where when you have your page linked to by another page, especially if you came up with I've introduced my brand new site to the world, it's helpful to your search engine ranking if that brand new web page is linked to by other pages, whether that's a social media account, whether it's any other affiliate sites that you work with, whether it's a mention in an article if you've created a new business. You want to get get a press release out there that's so maybe you're in the papers and the newspaper online links to your site. Now all of a sudden you're going to get crawled. So by hopping along these links, a crawler is able to find new content and then add it to their index. A massive database of discoverable URLs to later be retrieved when a searcher is seeking information that the content on that URL is a good match for. So there's a nice little graphic of this. So what is a search engine index? Search engines process and store information that they find in an index, a huge database of all the content that they've discovered and deem good enough to serve up to searchers. So if I'm putting something into my search engine, it's going to look through. Those spiders crawl it. So you can see that I've got the web. Here's my person. They're looking through things. There's an index, what they found, paid inclusion. You can also pay to be included on those search engine results. That's why if you search something, usually those top things will be ads that are paid for. But then you can also organically appear as well. Search engine ranking, the thing that everybody wants. Everybody wants to be number one in Google when I Google those relevant terms. So when someone performs a search engines scour their index for a highly relevant content and then orders that content in the hopes of solving the searcher's query. This ordering of search results by relevance is known as ranking. In general, you can assume that the higher a website is ranked, the more relevant the search engine believes that site is to the query. It also can be the more often a site is visited. So if you were searching for best place to buy MacBook Pro, if certain sites have been hit a lot more and been used a lot more by other users and other searchers out there, it's going to rank higher. So your site is going to rank higher than those that are brand new or maybe a site with not much information. So keeping in mind that your search engine ranking will change over time. So if your site is new, you're going to keep working on that good white hat SEO. You're going to try and build organic links. You're going to try and build more content. And as you build that site organically and get people to link to it organically, and you link to other sites organically, you start to drive that flow of traffic to your site. Hopefully you're making a sticky site, that site that people come to and come to often. It's going to improve that ranking. Therefore, what maybe you ranked second or third page, and maybe in a couple months now you're first or second page. After a couple more months or a couple more years, maybe you're number one in Google. Again, you can pay for AdWords and things like that to help bump up your ranking in Google. However, the best way to go is that those good SEO practices of building a really relevant and good and strong site. So I hope that's helpful in your introduction to SEO, and hopefully that gives you a start on your journey in working on your website. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.